Hey, Birkett here, along with Carlos Monarrez from our Allen Park studios. Carlos comes in from off camera. And Carlos, I think this is your first time with the mic here. So
I'm
talk
never
into it.
I'm never going to get a chance to talk, so this is the one
That's
time.
good.
So thanks for coming on Freak.com. So
Yeah.
see you next week.
No, I will continue to hold the mic. You can speak when I tell you to speak, and we'll
Let me know.
go about our
Yeah.
business. It'll be good. But look, all right. So another loss for the Lions. I know we didn't get to talk about that the other day, but obviously disappointing. 3-5-1 right now. Now they've lost 5 of their last 6 games. Just in a bad spot here, and especially when you consider Matthew Stafford dealing with the back injury, did not practice on Wednesday. We'll see what happens this weekend, but certainly signs would point to him not playing at this point. I don't know how quickly broken bones in your back heal, but I would guess that he's not out there. But the big news this week with the NFL, Colin Kaepernick holding a workout in Atlanta over the weekend, and Matt Patricia said today the Detroit Lions will be in attendance. Now, Carlos, my question to you is, given the Lions, the state of the quarterback position with the Lions right now, Jeff Driskel, your starter until further notice, David Blau, your friend the magician, the backup. I don't know. How likely do you think it is that the Lions sign Colin Kaepernick? Should they sign Colin Kaepernick? Break this whole situation down for me.
I get the microphone.
I'm going to hold it still.
Yeah, it's 0%. I mean, you just got rid of Quandre Diggs, who had a difference of opinion, obviously, with the coach, he said. And Kaepernick is he's not a yes man. I mean, he's going to go out there, he's going to speak his mind. This is not what, this regime is about. He just doesn't fit the culture. I mean, there's just I think it's 0%. What do you think? What, a bit higher than that? Lower? Is it lower?
Well, I mean, I think it's probably a non-zero chance. I mean, like it just. You're right. He doesn't. He's not what the Lions. The Lions don't want the distraction. They don't want to deal with that. I think there's probably some legitimate football reasons too. I mean, through no fault of his own, he hasn't played in 3 years. I mean, 2016 was the last time that he saw the field, and I don't know that you go sign anybody that hasn't played a meaningful football game in 3 years. Whether that's Kelvin Johnson coming out of retirement or whoever it is. It just
Right.
There's a lot that an athlete loses when they haven't seen the game in 3 years. Again, it's through no fault of Colin's own. I mean, I think he was blackballed by the NFL. I think that's pretty apparent. They paid him off in his lawsuit. Given those circumstances, I think it would just be tough for an NFL team, even in the Lions situation where you don't have a proven quarterback right now, to come in and all of a sudden sign this guy and then throw him onto the field a week or two later.
It's just I mean, you have to look at it, realistically from the NFL standpoint, right? This thing's been kind of slowly, it's gone away for them. It's been a public relations nightmare for them. I know you've gotten a few ugly emails about it if he does play, and how dare the Lions even
Pull
consider
my
it.
phone up here for those listening at home and watching. I'm going to pull this up and read you an email. Go ahead.
Let me just take this here.
Yeah,
All right. This is the Carlos Monarrez show now. So yeah, I just don't see it. It's just not worth the bother. I would say, listen, he had a tryout with the Seahawks, right?
I do believe he worked out for the Seahawks when Darrell Bevell was the offensive coordinator.
Okay. And that was the only one, I think, right? The only
I don't know,
NFL serious.
The Ravens were another team that he was linked to. I don't know if he worked out for them. I don't know the specifics of that, but certainly I think, that he hasn't had a lot of opportunity.
All right. So Pete Carroll, John Harbaugh, pretty smart guys, opportunistic guys. If they pass on him, I don't. Other than Bill, I would say Belichick would be the other guy that I'd say that maybe if he thinks he can get the last juice of something out of him, he would have taken a chance. The other coaches in the NFL, it's a conservative league. They don't take weird chances on people, and all the attendant controversy, PR stuff that would come with it. It's just not worth it, I think.
I feel like this microphone has really interrupted my arguing with you. It's brought a calming influence to this room, and I'm not sure if I like it. But no, I think those situations were probably as much about the owners as everything too. I mean, I don't remember the specifics, but from a pure football standpoint, there's no reason that Colin Kaepernick should have been out of the league in 2017 or 18 even. And especially in a system like Seattle where he would have been, at least in my opinion, the type of quarterback that you would want to back up a Russell Wilson given his athleticism. And the fact that he didn't get a look, and whoever they signed, I don't know who it was, but whoever they signed was not the same caliber quarterback of Colin Kaepernick. So, he was out of the league for non-football reasons. I don't know that it wasn't Pete Carroll or John Harbaugh making football decisions. All right, so let me read this email to you. We're just going to call this guy Steve because that's his name. Hi, Dave. I was in disbelief when I read your story. Colin Kaepernick is a walking insult to the United States of America. He almost single-handedly destroyed the NFL. I stopped watching and going to games throughout the whole kneeling ordeal. There are no words to describe the disappointment that I would have in the Detroit Lions, Martha Ford, the Ford family, should they move forward with Kaepernick. It's a shame they would even give him consideration. And it goes on and on. And you're right. Look, it's very infrequently that I've written about Colin Kaepernick here. I think the last time I did was when the Lions signed Matt Castle last spring. And I just asked, why not Colin Kaepernick? But those are the types of emails, the types of feedback that you get in those situations. And look, if I'm getting some of those, I'm sure the Lions are getting some of those. And it's not that they're bowing to every wish of the fan base or that segment of the fan base. But I think everything else that comes along with it, the increased media scrutiny, all the television cameras that would be here, all for a backup quarterback who's not going to play. That's just not something that I see this regime wanting to even deal with. They're going to send somebody, like Matt Patricia said, they will send somebody there. But frankly, this whole workout just seems more like a sham, an NFL production, than it does a legitimate chance for Colin to get back in the NFL.
Yeah, I think they're doing it for the appearance of making it seem fair, as though they're going through the process and giving the guy a shot. I haven't looked, but obviously he didn't sign with that, what was it called, American Alliance of Football. I would have liked to have seen some tape on him. If you really want to get back in the league, I think he could maybe be doing a little bit more. I don't know if there's that much film on him out there, or doing drills, or working with junior college teams, or doing anything like that. I'd like to see where his skills are right now, as opposed to just an NFL team has to sign me, probably at a pretty high price too.
Well, I think that was a very opportunistic ploy by the AAF trying to get Kaepernick in, and I'm sure the XFL would do the same. And these leagues, they all want the publicity and the marketing dollars that would come with that. And from Colin's standpoint, I completely understand why he wouldn't do that. I mean, what he needs is to be in an NFL camp from April, through for the whole season, so that way he has the benefit of learning a playbook and he can compete for a job. And obviously that's not going to happen at this point. I mean, there's 7 games left in the season, and even though he's a veteran and experienced hand, he's not going to come in and start right away or play right away. I mean, shoot, when the Lions signed Dante Culpepper, remember when they brought him off the street from coaching his son's team back in 2008 or whatever that was? It took him a week or two before he was ready. I mean, it takes some time no matter how far removed from the game you are and how good of shape you've stayed in. So I just look, again, it's a shame. Don't think Colin should have ever been out of the league in the first place, but now that he's been out 3 years, I think football teams have a legitimate reason to say, okay, that's why I'm not bringing you in.
Yeah, now it's enough time. It's passed. So yeah, that's it makes sense. You think anybody's gonna?
I don't. No. I mean, look. I imagine all 32 teams will be there, right? I'm sure the NFL sent a strongly worded, request, or maybe something on Signal, the app Signal, right? That just goes away, so that way Colin's attorneys can't get it. Just saying, hey, make sure you have somebody there. But again, it's probably not going to be general managers who are there. It's certainly not going to be coaches the day before games. So, we'll see what comes of it. But my expectations are low.
Yeah, I'd agree. The only time they could have done it would have been less, I guess, significant, or would have been like during Thanksgiving weekend when nobody's paying attention to the NFL.
They should do it during the owners' meetings. That way, all the GMs are there. That way, there's no excuse. Hey, we're going to have this workout, Wednesday morning. Everyone is in town in Florida or Arizona, wherever it is. That way, you have no excuse not to show up if you're a team.
And if they were honest about it, they'd be doing it sometime around draft time. When teams are still being assembled, and give them a chance, like you said, to be in camp and everything. Right now, I mean, yes, the trade deadline's passed, so this is a shot to look at a potential free agent, but.
Yeah, like I said, low expectations. My expectations for the Lions this week are that Jeff Driskel will start. Matthew.
Let's talk about that. Yeah, Stafford. How did he look, and what do you expect him? What do you think?
He looked like you and me today, standing around doing nothing. I mean, he
not good looking.
Yeah,
I don't think so. One of us.
No, he threw a couple passes on the side with one of the staffers, one of the team personnel guys, and then he just stood around and watched practice. Didn't have a helmet on, had his baseball cap turned backwards, so clearly was not practicing. The Lions are shorthanded. They got a bunch of injuries that they're dealing with right now, and this is going to be a tough game for them against the Cowboys. I know we'll get into our predictions on Friday, But my expectations are low, even though I think going back and watching the way Jeff Driskel played, check out my film review, freak.com, /Lions. And I think Driskel did well. I mean, he wasn't great. He wasn't awful. He threw that one bad pick. He, led a late touchdown drive. The offense didn't move a whole lot with him on the field, but I think by and large he made the plays that were there. He took a couple sacks that weren't completely his fault. He made some plays with his feet. So I kind of think the Lions are in a little better backup spot now than I did, 2 months ago. But that being said, I don't know that Jeff Driskel is going out to win you many ball games.
After that plug for Birkett.com. So are you ready now to rescind your C+? You gave Driskel a C+ after the game, I believe.
No, I did, and I think I mean, again, he was good for a backup. He wasn't good for a good, Matthew Stafford.
Are you judging him on the same scale as Stafford?
Well, I mean, you have to. You're starting. I mean, you get maybe
you found out he was starting on Sunday.
Yeah,
maybe Saturday.
That's the Lions' fault, and I wrote
is that his fault? You're giving him a bad grade because the teacher didn't give him the right assignment.
Well, again, I think the teacher was to blame, whether it was the teacher or whether it was the medical staff not diagnosing him early enough. I think there was certainly a lot of hands that deserve blame for not having him as prepared as he could have been. But when I hand those grades out, a lot of what I look at are the critical errors that people make. If you're just average and going through the motions, whatever, that's fine. But I want to see some big plays. I want to see some impactful plays. And the one impactful play he made was the turnover that led to a touchdown for the Chicago Bears. So, I thought maybe I was being generous with a C+. I mean,
that touchdown to Kenny Golladay just doesn't do it for you.
I mean, look,
wow.
The Lions were down 20-6 at the time, and he threw a nice touchdown.
Got him back into the game
at the end.
Nice.
Did you think they were coming back to win that?
They were a play away, yeah. If they'd thrown in a Hail Mary at the end of the first half, they might have been a little closer.
You had some hope, though. You were really deep down. You were like, wow, these Lions are in it? Or you just
They're
were
close.
Like,
they could have done it.
Okay.
Maybe.
No.
Never give up hope, Dave.
They were not coming back to win that game.
Wow.
And, again, look, I don't think it's all Driskel's fault because as I rewatched the game, they had some deep shots, and they couldn't protect. There were a couple sacks that the Lions just, if they protect up, he has a couple deep shots. The one in particular, Marvin Hall would have gone for a touchdown, I think, had he made the right throw or a good throw.
Is that after Ragnar got hurt, or did it matter?
Wagner.
Wagner, I'm sorry.
One of the pressures, go ahead, check that film review out, freep.com, /Lions.
Also, check out his scathing column about whose fault it was. I think you took you took Patsy Clark to task on this.
It was the team's fault. I mean, they need to look. If you have any concerns going through the week that Matthew Stafford is not going to be your quarterback, you need to do more to get Jeff Driskel ready and prepared to be your starter. He said he took just the normal handful of snaps that he always takes in practice. That's not doing enough for a backup quarterback.
Did a double walkthrough.
Someone who's only been through the system, been in the system for 2 months. That's not enough. You need those reps. So, yeah, I think it was the Lions, the organization's fault. And, again, I don't know if that's Patricia. I don't know if that's the medical staff didn't do these tests early enough. They sent Stafford for this testing on Friday. Do it on Wednesday. If Stafford has back problems, do it on Wednesday, right? Maybe you come up with it. So I think there's still a lot that we don't know, a lot unanswered about that whole situation that we probably will never get answers to, unfortunately. And especially why he wasn't downgraded from questionable. If his back is to the point where as Matt Patricia said after the game, it wasn't safe for him to play. They weren't doing any more scans at the stadium. There's no MRI machine in Soldier Field, I don't think. You're not doing anything at the stadium that morning. So his back is not going to all of a sudden be safe to go ahead and put him out there for however many plays less than 48 hours later with no apparent medical change that you know of. So none of this makes any sense.
Well, to play devil's advocate just a little bit, is he did say Monday, I think, when you were drinking champagne on the tarmac and I was doing all the work, he talked to the reporters out here, Patricia did, and he said that, and I believe this, that Stafford's kind of risen like Lazarus a few times where we thought the guy has no chance to go. He's got broken ribs,
Stop.
And he's made it to games. He has this Iron Man streak. He should not have played through so many injuries, but he's gotten out there. And I've even heard some sports writers have had bets on how tough he is and how long he can play. So you never know.
You're right. I do know about that. I can confirm that.
Now the medical thing. The medical thing,
Yes.
Let me just say the medical thing is sports writers are like trained monkeys, and they think that medical things are black and white. That's it. It's a AC joint. It's 6 to 8 weeks, according to Dr. Chow, whatever.
Wrong.
And there's a lot of gray area in medical problems, and I think that I do believe that they really had strong concerns and probably like, well, doesn't look like he's going to play, but if he wakes up Sunday and he feels better, maybe they were going to do
it's not about
more
how he
testing.
felt. It's not,
Why not?
It's not about how he felt. Because if they said it's not safe for him to play, the
As
medical
of
scans
Sunday.
showed that it wasn't safe for him to play after they took those scans Friday. Nothing is changing by Sunday. There are no new medical scans that all of a sudden make it safe for him to play. It's not safe. If it's not safe, you don't play. Nothing changes. If it is safe, you play him. So when the medical tests say, no, he can't play, we're not clearing him because we see this on the pictures that we see, right? He got a CAT scan on his back. We see these fractured bones in his back. So he's not playing. Well, guess what? Just because you wait 24 hours doesn't mean those fractures go away. You need to do more tests. You need to do all of that.
Guys play with broken hands. Jack Youngblood played on a broken leg in the Super Bowl. You never know.
That
Fractures.
was the case, but Matt Patricia said in his own words, it was about, right? They did this testing that raised these concerns.
Right.
So the tests raised the concerns. There were no tests after that alleviated the concerns. Right. He should have been ruled out. If you have this concern after these testing, like, oh my God, it's not safe for us to put our quarterback out there, we can't play him, then you don't play him. Then you downgrade him to out. If it's just you making that decision, well, you're not a doctor. Let the doctors make the decision. So if the doctors say, yep, he can play, then he plays. I mean, that's what we hear all the time from coaches, right? It's out of my hands. I let the doctor. Trust the doctor with this. No, you can't have it both ways.
Right.
It's either up to the doctor or it's not.
I agree. You cannot have it both ways. And you and I know that it's not both ways, that the doctors make recommendations. It's the teams and the players who make the decisions. And when we talked to Stafford in the locker room on Monday, someone asked him about, how much of it is a balance between, what the medical staff says, what the scans say, and pain management, how much you can get through it. Because only a player knows how much they can bear. Some guys can play on broken arms and legs and club up hands and this and that. Other guys can't. So Stafford obviously has played through probably a lot more than we know.
And he was trying to play Sunday.
And he was trying to play said. Right. And he said he wanted to be out there even if it was not to start, but even if it was just to hand the ball off if they needed him to or whatever. As we know, when he played against the Browns that time and he had the shoulder that popped out, he went in there, still threw the touchdown pass, right? Was it 2-point conversion? What was it? I don't remember now. Touchdown.
Brandon Pettigrew, game-winning touchdown.
Yeah.
Pass, right?
So this guy's played through a lot,
Yeah.
So some guys.
But he was never, when he was ruled out, he didn't play. When the doctor said, "Hey, buddy, you can't play. It's not safe for you to be out there."
We don't know that the doctor said that.
Matt Patricia said that it's not safe for him to play.
I think that that's a little bit of probably hindsight saying, well, after we took everything into consideration on Sunday, when Stafford said he didn't feel he could get through it, with the pain, we said it's just not safe. I mean, it's not saying, here's the doctor who says he cannot play, here are the x-rays. There's no definitive proof of that. It's him saying that, and then obviously walking it back a little bit a couple days later.
Look, I said this on video that I shot before the game Sunday, right? And you referenced Dr. Chow earlier. I talked to Dr. Chow about this back in the summer, right?
He says Stafford says it's a different back injury.
Right. But so my understanding is that there are only 2 injuries that you can play with, right? If you have a broken bone in your back, it would be malpractice for an NFL team to clear you to put you out on the field unless it is a
transverse.
Yeah, one of the processes. There's a transverse process and the other process. Either one of those processes you could play through. Those are the little spiny knobs, whatever, on the end of the vertebrae. This one is in a different area of his back, upper back versus lower back. So last year, the belief is that that's what he was playing through, like a broken transverse process or, a fractured transverse process, whatever, cracked, whatever it was. This year, I don't know, if different transverse processes are different or based on the break or the fracture or whatever. I don't know any of the Stafford diagnosis, right? So let me be clear about that. But if it's anything other than that, the doctors rule you out. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Okay? If it is one of those, that's what he played through last year. So again, I don't know. I mean, we're getting into this medical terminology, but you're trying to muddy up the waters here.
That's medicine. No. It's muddy gray stuff.
No. The bottom line: doctors clear you, you play. If the doctors don't clear you, you don't play. And Matt Patricia indicated after the game the doctors didn't clear him, right? He indicated this past week on Monday that the doctors did not clear him after those tests on Friday because that's what raised this big concern. That's what made it unsafe for him to play. So the doctors didn't clear you. So then you rule him out. That's what you have to do. You make him doubtful. You rule him out, whatever. There's nothing else that happens before you get to the stadium that changes that ruling. If you do some other tests Saturday and it tells you the same thing, you rule him out then. That's what you have to do. I just don't buy any of the.
Okay. Are you sure that they ruled him out after those scans, that the doctor said this was not safe?
It's
ruled him
not
out?
safe to play. How much more clear can that be? Matt Patricia said it twice. It's not safe to play. Not safe. I mean, I don't know what else. Like now,
The doctors
now
are
the
giving
microphone
their
is not
opinion.
is letting us go back and forth. So I like this, but no, yeah, the doctors are giving their opinion. So if the doctor says it's not safe to play, you're not overruling a medical doctor as a coach, a football coach, a GM, whoever it is. The doctor says no, he's not playing. You're not playing.
Now, did he
That's
say?
what it
I wasn't
is.
at the game. So did Patricia actually say the doctors said it was not safe for him to play?
I don't remember
Or
that.
did Patricia just say it wasn't
Okay.
safe after consulting with the doctors?
Okay, well, regardless, if Matt Patricia is making that determination, he's not a doctor. It's not up to him to make that. So if the doctors say, well, he can go, I mean, if he can tolerate the pain, I mean, he may get hurt.
Right.
No, it's not up to the football coach. It's up to the doctors. So if Matt Patricia is saying he made that determination, that's not his determination to make. If he's saying the doctors made it, then you need to change the injury report because there's nothing that's going to change the doctor's opinion without more testing being done.
It all depends. And obviously the NFL, are they still looking into it? Because you reported that they were looking into it. It's
Yeah.
standard procedure on this kind of situation. With
Yeah, I was told it was a standard, look-see at it. I mean, look, the Pittsburgh Steelers were fined. Mike Tomlin was fined for not listing Ben Roethlisberger on the report. I think that fine just came out last week, if I'm not mistaken, and that was the Roethlisberger injury from the beginning of the season. So, I don't know when we can expect this investigation to wrap up. I don't know if investigation is the right word. It makes it seem a little more harsh, but when their analysis of everything. But yeah, the NFL is looking into it.
Okay.
And frankly, I don't. I mean, I think it's pretty rare that fines happen in these circumstances. The NFL does reserve the right to fine a team, fine an individual, dock a team draft picks. Highly doubt any of that is going to happen with the Lions, but the NFL is looking into how the team handled Matthew Stafford on the report.
Yeah, as they should. It'll play out in a few weeks probably.
It'll play out in a few weeks, and we will see this week, I guess, on Friday when the injury report comes out, whether Matthew Stafford is questionable, doubtful, for this weekend. And maybe we'll find out this weekend what the Lions think of Colin Kaepernick, too. So wrap this whole thing up. All right, that'll do it for us here. For Carlos Monarrez, I'm Dave Birkett. You got something else to add?
No, DaveBurkettEnterprises.com, /Lions, free press.
Freep.com, /Lions. Check it out. For Carlos Monarrez, I'm Dave Birkett, Freep.com.
This is yours again.